The conversation went in a tangent where she was saying this generation have it a lot easier than what they used to have. Yes, there are a lot more resources available now. You have internet. From that perspective, it is very easy to get information. It is very easy to get data. It is very easy to get help. So that's one thing I agree. But I also disagree because when you have so much things available, it's too much noise. There's a lot of noise going around, which basically means that you don't know what to choose. But when you have like 10 options, you start procrastinating. You have too much resources and you don't know what to do with that because it's a lot of noise.
You guys should go and look at 1990 exam papers.
Yeah, it's so much easier. They were easier.
It's still your syllabus, 2019.
Yeah.
So why are you saying it's easier then?
Yeah, it's getting easier every year.
Oh, yeah, okay, so
We're
you're
doing all the same.
my days. You're saying, no, easier. See, yeah, exactly, I agree.
It's easy to kind of say, yes, I get where you're coming from, but then I put myself these students' shoes and try to think to myself, okay, if I was living in their world right now, where I had a phone from a very young age and I was being brought up in that environment where everyone had phones and I'm going on social media, Instagram, all these things and looking what everyone else is doing, it can get very overwhelming, man. It can get very, very overwhelming. Okay, right, so I was meant to record before class started today, but I wasn't able to because I came across a bit of a technical difficulty in that there was no audio coming from my camera. And essentially, I made a silly little mistake where on top of my camera, I pressed the SNQ button, which basically changed the recording setting of that, and essentially I wasn't able to record any audio, and I was just trying to fiddle with it to try and find out where this problem lied. Couldn't find it, had to then Google it and realized that it was the SNQ button, and all I had to do was just press that and the issue was solved. But before I got to resolve it, there was not enough time and class started. So I'm recording now. So just finished 2 classes, the mechanics class for the year 13 and the year 12 pure maths class. Went pretty good. I wasn't feeling too tired today. Actually kind of felt refreshed, even though I didn't have that much sleep, which is interesting. Sometimes you would feel a bit more tired, but in this case, I wasn't. We did further binomial expansion, and then for the mechanics, we did moments on a ladder on an inclined plane. The moment side of things is a bit, I wouldn't say confusing, but visually it's a bit difficult to visualize because of the angle and then how to resolve the forces left and, well, up and down. So students do struggle with that a bit. But once you understand and once you're able to visualize it, it's not that hard. It's pretty straightforward. So yeah, got my tea as well here. You wouldn't believe this, yeah? I nearly finished 1 liter of tea. Is that a lot? Maybe it's a bit too much. Imagine if I drank 1 liter of coffee. Oh my days. I'll be so paranoid and have too much energy. The tea is less strong as well, so it's okay, but maybe I don't think that's good. A couple of things I wanted to ask. Maybe some of you guys do this or don't do this. Do you put eggs in your fridge or do you put eggs outside? Because I've been, until I think 2 weeks ago, been storing eggs in the fridge, but apparently you're not meant to do that. It's meant to be outside. I just thought if you put eggs in the fridge, it preserves it more, I guess, or you're able to preserve the eggs longer because, you know, of temperature. But apparently you're not meant to do that. Apparently you're meant to put it outside. So that's one thing. And then the next thing, I get so much stick for this, but I don't know why, is sardines. This is gonna sound so random, but who eats sardines from a tin or can? Because I do. And I said this to the students and they're like, oh, that's disgusting. Blah, blah. But actually, I really like it and it's edible as well. So I don't know if it is edible. I like it, but I'm not sure if any of you have done it. If you have, put it down in the comments. I'll be very interested to know because I've been eating sardines from the can and man, it is really nice because they put it in different, like you have different cans where one of them is in olive oil and I think the other one is with tomato sauce, but they have ones with bones and without the bones. So I eat the ones with boneless sardines. Oh, so nice. I'll just open the can, drain out the olive oil and eat the sardines. It tastes really nice and it's actually very, very healthy. I don't know if any of you eat fish or if you don't, but that's another thing that I do, which apparently people find weird. But yeah, man, other than that, it's been an interesting week. I was a bit drained on Friday. Didn't really have much energy. I just felt like I had to recuperate. Like basically what I mean is, you know them days where you feel like you're about to doze off in the middle of the day? It was like one of those days. And I think it's because I had to catch up on some sleep. It does happen every now and then where, you know, there'll be one of those days where I'll just like, oh my gosh, it's like an intense sleep. Like you're working and you're feeling a bit tired, but you feel that tiredness really being heavy on you and you could just like drop dead and just sleep. It was one of those days. But I feel a bit more refreshed now, even though I didn't get much sleep still. I need to catch up on that. We've got still another 2 classes to go, 2 or 3 classes actually. After that, I've got to upload this week's vlog today. That's gonna be going out live. And yeah, I do know that the past 2 videos, I've been talking quite a lot and just sharing my thoughts. And I guess this vlog is just gonna be a bit more chilled. It's easy for the older generation to say you have it easy, but the older generation, the life that they were living is completely different to the generation that these students are living in. It's different circumstances. Everything is changing. I don't want to have another video where I talk about something else. Unless you want me to, you can let me know, but I'm still kind of figuring out this whole vlog or day in the life or, behind the scenes of a teacher. And I don't know if we don't know what works. And I think I want to do it in a way where it feels natural and I don't want to feel like I'm having to put a front. I don't think I am, and I don't want to do that. I feel like with anything you do, you want to do something that is sustainable in the long run. You don't want to do something where it takes a lot of effort for you to keep it going and you don't like it and you don't enjoy it, because then you're just going to give up easily. So even with these vlogs, I guess I could show more. I just need to feel a bit more comfortable as well, because I'm quite a private person anyway, and I don't like attention. I like my own company. I like that. It doesn't mean that I can't speak with people. I love speaking with people. I love interacting with people. I like that. But in terms of like attention and all that stuff, I'm very okay with being in the dark. This is going to sound a bit cheesy, but I normally call myself the Dark Knight. I know, cheesy. I know. Come at me. The comments is gonna be like, ugh.
It's going to be 2.
Where?
You wrote it again on the 3rd line, the second bracket.
What's -1?
Oh.
Got you there, didn't I? My dad's
18 child
uncle, he can speak 18 languages.
18 languages. What language?
I don't even know. Most of the European languages.
Once you know one, it's probably easier, isn't it?
European, yeah, because the words are very similar. So even Spanish and French, if I say, I don't know, for example, in Spanish, très bien, how do you say très bien? Muy bien. But bien means good. Spanish has it as well. In French, it's très bien.
Means 3.
That's trois.
Oh.
Très. You guys are easy. You guys should go and look at 1990 exam
Yeah,
papers.
it's so much easier. They were easier.
So it's still your syllabus, 2019. So why do you think it's easier then?
It's getting easier every year.
Oh, yeah, okay, so you
It's harder
oh
so
my
far.
days.
You say no, easier. See, yeah, exactly. I agree.
So I had a conversation with a parent the other day, and it was a very interesting conversation, and I thought I'll share this with you because it could be beneficial, and I will be interested to hear your thoughts about this. And essentially, long story short, the conversation went in a tangent where she was saying, this generation of people, students, kids, etc., have it a lot easier than what they used to have. And she mentioned that they have a lot more resources, they have a lot of things readily available that they can use instantly to help, whether it is studying for an exam, whether it's for interview, whether it's for a career. Everything is a lot more easier, and that there should be no excuses for them to do well. For me, the way I look at this is I agree and I also disagree. And I'll tell you why, and this is just my thoughts. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, but this is just the way I think about things, right? So the aspect of me, I agree, is yes, there are a lot more resources available now. You have internet where, 15, 20, maybe even 30 years ago was not even there. You have things in the palm of your hand that you could literally go on your phone and get anything you want. You have resources available at your fingertips. So from that perspective, it is very easy to get information. It is very easy to get data. It is very easy to get help. So that's one thing I agree. And when you look at it from that perspective, when you have information readily available like that and you don't have to put time and effort to get it because it's just instant, you can look at it in a way where, okay, it should be easy for me to achieve these results. It should be easy for me to achieve the grades. It should be easy for me to get into a career because I have all of this available for me. But I also disagree, because when you have so much things available, it's too much noise. There's a lot of noise going around, which basically means that you don't know what to choose. You see, when things are less readily available, and you don't have as many choices, you will make the most of what you have because you know that this is the only choice or options that you have. But when you have like 10 options, you start procrastinating. You have too much resources and you don't know what to do with that because it's a lot of noise. And in that as well could create a lack of decision, a lack of, okay, I'm gonna make this choice and I'm gonna go with it because you have all these options. One example that comes to my mind is social media, right? Social media can be used in a good way, and social media can also be very detrimental. So the way I look at it is, okay, you can use social media to get what you need, information, if you want to use it for your business, if you want to use it to know about certain things that's going to help you to get what you need, that's great. Social media it could be a very powerful tool for that. But then when you look at social media in a way where you compare yourself with other people because you see all these people, all these options, right? It could be very detrimental, and then you can get perplexed and just anxiety starts building in because you just look at all these different things. Noise is what I would call it. So it's interesting when the older generation look at it as you have it easy. Everything is given to you. You know, it wasn't as hard as it was before. Yes, I get that. I understand that. But there's also a lot of, you see, back in the days, the people that you would know is your close circle, your community, right? The people around you. Now you can see pretty much what everyone is doing around the world through the palm of your hand. Just literally, you could just go and check, and then comparison comes in, and then you start getting overwhelmed, and you start getting anxiety, you start stressing, you start comparing yourself. All these things come. Whereas before, the only people I guess you were comparing yourself to, or the options that you have, were very limited because you didn't have the power or the tool of internet or social media. So I found it very interesting when she said that, because it's easy to kind of say, yes, I get where you're coming from, but then I put myself under these students' shoes and try to think to myself, okay, if I was living in their world right now, where I had a phone from a very young age, like from the age of 10 or 8, and I was being brought up in that environment where everyone had phones and I'm going on social media, Instagram, all these things, and looking what everyone else is doing, it can get very overwhelming, man. It can get very, very overwhelming. And in that as well, your relationships with people, genuine, authentic relationships, gets affected because now your whole world is based on this virtual reality as opposed to reality in and of itself. I sympathize with that. I sympathize with people that struggle with that because that's the world that they were brought in. So it's easy for the older by the way, I'm not saying the older generation is wrong or right. I'm not saying this generation is wrong or right. I'm just sharing my observation. It's easy for the older generation to say you have it easy. Got it. But the older generation, the life that they were living is completely different to the generation that these students are living in, or new generation coming in or living in. It's different circumstances. Everything is changing. In a way, I try and put myself in these people's shoes, the students' shoes, and try and understand, okay, how can I get the best that I can with the resource I'm given and not feel overwhelmed by the noise? And try and understand that, because also, yes, people talk about mental health and all that stuff. That's a big thing, and I think that's a very good thing that people talk more about it and are sharing that, which is fine. That's great, as opposed to playing the victim. So I want to differentiate that. Like, there's one thing about talking about mental health and doing something about it. There's one thing about just playing the victim mode and just being stuck in that. I do not like that. To me, it's just like you're asking to be in a position where you want to feel bad for yourself and sorry for yourself, and I just don't have patience with that kind of stuff, because for me it's like, okay, you have a problem, let's talk about it, let's address it, let's let the emotions out, but once that's done, let's take action and think about, okay, what can we do to move forward? That's how I look at it, and that's how I will think about it, right? When I look at these students that I'm teaching now, don't get me wrong, most of the students here are good. They were brought up by good parents, good culture, good values and principles, and also my values and principles is they understand it, and I think that's why we gel very well, is because they're not living in cuckoo land. And every now and then you have one or two students that do live in cuckoo land, and I bring them back from cuckoo land to virtual reality, to normal reality, and then they understand. So it's easy to kind of put your values and principles on this generation, say this is the way to do it, but you also have to understand where they're coming from and try and find a bridge to try and connect that and give them a different sight or a different view or a different perspective of what actually reality is. So that conversation was very interesting because it gave me an understanding of how certain people think. It gave me more of a thinking platform for myself when I talk with these students about, okay, where their mind is at as well and how they think about things, as opposed to me thinking that, my views are right or the way I think is always right. No, it's not always, because things change, but it's also being able to adapt to how the world is changing. So I feel that you have two sides of a story. Yes, this generation and the next generation and future generations will have more resources and will have information at their hand, and they can, which means opportunities to do well is easier. But at the same time, one can also say that because you have too much resources, because you have information overload, that you will struggle to stay focused and be tunnel vision on one thing because you have all these other options. So that's something I wanted to share, and I'll be interested to hear what you guys think about this, because I like conversations like this. I like to think about these things in two separate ways, I guess, in one on the left side and the right side, and trying to understand, okay, how we can bridge this together to make it work. And I think that's very important, as opposed to saying I'm right and you're wrong. And if we can kind of find a way to connect, I think people will feel more connected and feel more of a community because we're understanding both perspectives and we're trying to make change to get both perspectives to understand and find a way to move forward together. So that was just one thing I wanted to share.
So would you rather go to a private school or a public school?
If public school were the way they used to be when I went, I would go to public school. But now, no. The way the standards have dropped, yeah, I just don't think so. But then it's happening in private schools as well. So it just depends on who you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with idiots, then I guess you're going to become an idiot as well, isn't it? Goes without saying. I've got a good compliment today.
What? Say it.
As I went to get water, this guy just looks at me with a suit. I didn't hear he's a teacher. How's it going? It's like, I'm just getting water. So how's the student life going? Oh, what? He thought I was a student. I was like, no, I'm a teacher. Oh, I'm so sorry. You just you look like a student. I'm like, no.
Lying.
Huh? What? Lying to me.
Like, yeah, you're a teacher, you just wanted something.
No. The way he was looking, trust me, he was. So it's a good compliment. I know you guys don't like it, but hey, I'll take it.
When she told you no, she clicked the thing. Did she click the thing?
Yeah, you're like, listen.
Yeah. And then you just like locked in on her. It was crazy.
The interesting thing is, why were you guys scared when I was telling her?
No. It's so scary.
Yeah.
You don't shout, you just like sound like a maniac.
I sound like a maniac.
You know, like serial killers, like.
It's so good.
Like,
When I talk with his mom,
when they have their victims, they like whisper to their victims. That's how you speak.
that's how you put people
Yeah.
in the shower. There's a psychology behind that. You should learn it. You got dogs?
My dog's well trained. It can do a spin.
It's a little dog, isn't it? Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
cockapoo.
It's a what? Cockapoo.
Cockapoo.
Who comes up with these names? Cockapoo, mockapoo,
Havapoo.
carapoo,
Havapoo.
Havapoo. What? Just finished the class for the day, and I can honestly say that, yeah, man, I'm slightly drained, slightly tired. It always happens, but now I'm just gonna rest up and recuperate. So what we did, probably I can show you actually here through the laptop. Actually, hold up. This is for the year 7 class trig, and this is all within an hour session, really. And I like to push, especially when they understand. That's the work that we are doing at the moment, and that is the last class. So I'm just gonna try and relax, find some time to just, do nothing, because like when you're teaching back to back, especially I've been doing Saturday, Sundays as well, you're working your brain throughout those hours, right? Long hours, which means that it does get tired, man. It does get tired, and I do feel that brain energy is a lot more than physical energy, and it takes a lot out of you. So I know that every Sunday I tend to get drained a bit, and I need at least a day or two just to kind of recuperate, because you're giving a lot of energy out. But it's okay. Like I said, it's part of the package. I'm not complaining. I enjoy it. I still do. I still like it. I still like teaching. And I mean, imagine this, right? You're teaching, like, even if you're teaching one person, there is a lot of energy that you're giving for one. So now imagine if you're doing that for 10, 15, 20, and then you're doing that, continuously as well. It's a lot. So gonna pack up, head home, relax, watch a series. I'm still currently watching Good Wife. So for those of you who don't know, I've been watching Good Wife for about, I think, 2-3 weeks now. I enjoy it, man. I really like it. There's nothing like a good series when it takes you out of your world and then you are going into their world. That to me is like one of the best feelings, especially if the series is really good. It's something that's needed, every now and then, especially when you're working and you just need your brain to rest. And I know everyone has a different way of resting. You have to find what works for you. For me, I like to watch a series, and Good Wife is the one that I'm currently watching. So yeah, if you're interested to know what it is about, do let me know, and I'm more than happy to give you like a summary. But it's a very, very good series. I would say 100%, in my opinion, better, way better, and I'm probably going to get stick for this, but I don't care, way better than Suits. Suits is nothing compared to Good Wife, because I watched Good Wife before already, so I'm watching it again now. But when I watched Good Wife and then I went and watched Suits, I was like, what the heck is this, man? Suits? Nah. I watched like 2-3 episodes and I couldn't take it. My brain couldn't take it, because there was no depth. There was no level of, the storyline wasn't that great. Apparently, like it wasn't good writing, in my opinion. And that comes from someone who watched Good Wife first and then watching Suits. I know I'm probably gonna get stick for that, but listen, I don't care. It's my opinion. I'm not right or wrong. It's just what I like. And you do what you do. I need to still upload the vlog for today, so I need to do that. Just need to do some little edits, and then we should get that up and running. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.
Sorry.
What's up, boys? Rihanna, why did you shave? Why did you shave, Rihanna? Wow. When you guys really shook, your whole body just went in vibration mode there. 1.7.
That's what I got first.
Okay, you don't have to shout. Okay. Okay.
People. I said, what do you play it?
Men don't play games. They go out in the wilderness.
When you're in school, what would you like? What would you like?
Very different to why I am now. But we all live and learn, you know, in my opinion. You don't have to take it. I know you and I know how you are. And I think college, because that's why I say college is only good for people who can do it themselves and are very independent. Doesn't mean that you're bad. I think for you just need a bit of structure and someone to hold you down at least for the next 2 years before you go to uni.
But the teachers are still there.
No, of course. But what I'm saying is a lot more independent to study compared to school. School will be on your case. So just something to bear, but obviously that's if you made your mind up, of course, go with that. Just a little wisdom there from what I've seen anyway. Oh, no problem. Oh my, you're gonna make me fat. Jeez, no, thank you, I appreciate it, thank you.